Good morning, students. Let us move on to the next lecture of Database Management System. Myself, P. Shilpa Chaitanya, working as Assistant Professor in the Department of Computer Science and Engineering from Vignan's Nirula Institute of Technology and Science for Women. So in the previous class, we have seen what is database, what is data, what is database, what is database system, what are the characteristics of database actually, and why we need a database, and what are the real-time applications of database. And we are having file system, isn't it? So why we go for database? We are having file system. What are the disadvantages over file system, and what are the advantages over database management system? So those are the topics that we have covered in our previous lecture. So in this today lecture, we will see about, I have pointed about the basic database users in our previous lecture. So in this lecture, we will see who are the actors on the screen, who are really using the database, who are the workers behind the scene. So we will see in depth about the database users, and we will see the brief introduction of what are the data models that are available in database management system, and concepts of schema, instance, what is database independency, what is the three-tiered schema architecture for database independency, and we will see the system structure of database management system. So in this video, we will see all these things. Yes, let us move on to the database users. So, who are the database users? Who are actually using the database? So, users may be divided into two types of users we are having. One type of user is actor on screen. On screen, who are using the database. And also workers behind the screen. Behind the scene, who are the users we are using. So, who are come under the actors on the screen? Those are who comes under database, who control the database content, the actors on screen, or who control the database content, and who design, who develop, who maintain the database applications. We call them as actors on screen. While talking about workers behind screen, who are the persons behind the screen? Who design and develop the actual DBMS software and the related tools which we are using, and the system operations. Those are all called the workers behind the scene. So basically the database users are two types. One is the who control the content of the database, who design, who develop and maintain the database application. And the second type of user is who develop the software, who develop the tools, who develop the system operations. So these are the two users which basically we are having in database management system. Let us move on to the next one. Next one. So the actors on screen. Who are the actors on screen? Let us see. So the actors on screen are database administrator, who actually maintain, control the database. So, who is the database administrator? Who is responsible for authorizing access to your database? Who coordinates, who monitors your software, all the resources, both software resource and hardware resource. And he will improve the efficiency of operations that you are performing on the database. Okay, so we call that user as database administrator. We generally call DBA, database administrator. Clear? Then coming to database designer, who define the content, who structure the content, who make the constraints, who make the functions or transactions against the database. So they are in a way to communicate with the end user and understand their needs. Okay, so who is the database designer? If a customer needs this type of data, then That type of data will be provided by the database designer, who is actor on the screen. So he will communicate with the end user and understand what type of data they want, what type of content they want, what type of structure they want. All those things will be maintained by database designer. Then talking about the next user, that is end user. Who are the end users? Who are using? End users are casual users. End users are casual users, navy or parametric users. Who are the casual users? We have the casual users are who occasionally use the database, or the casual users. Who are navy users? They make up a large section of end user population. Best example is bank teller or reservation clerks, who do this activity for an entire shift. So morning to evening they are doing those. We call them as a navy user. So the end user is nothing but who using your database, who querying your database. So those are casual users and navy users. Clear? Then talking about the next user, sophisticated user. So casual user, navy user, sophisticated user. Who are the sophisticated users? We have sophisticated users are your business analyst, who are using your database in your business. Then some scientists, engineers, all other who knows the database very well. We call them as sophisticated users. Then talking about standalone users. Standalone users means you are having your personal database. Those are using their own database. So mostly maintain personal databases. Okay, so best example is tax program user that creates its own internal database. They will create their own internal database for their operations. Is that clear? Next, actors on screen, system analysts and application programmers. So software engineers, system analyst means who fulfill the requirements of the end user, especially the users of casual user, navy user, and the developed specification standalone system users. Those, for all the users, the system analyst will provide the required tools. Then talking about application programmers. Application programmers are used to implement the specific operations which we need in your database, like testing, debugging, documenting, and maintaining your database. Clear? So these are all the users, actors on screen, workers behind screen. So who develop the database system actually? So we call them the database system designers and implementer design. So we call them as workers behind screen. So they are the designers and implementers of the designing of your software package. They are the tool developers which design your tools. They are the operators and maintenance personals who are the system personnel responsible for maintaining your database. They are used to provide your database design which we need. They are not running. They are not contacting to the end user. Clear? So this is about database users. So let us move on to the next one, view of data or data abstraction. How you view your data. Okay, so let us see. Yes. So what is a view of audio songs? How you view your audio songs? So let us take an example how you view your data by your general example. How you view your audio songs? How you view your audio songs? Which song you want? In which album you want to search for it? Those are the things we need to fetch. So coming to the first one, that is a physical level. And the physical level, what do you think? What do you think of extracting your song? So the physical thing is from which device you want to extract your song. So either from a CD or from a audio tape. In the same way, the next one is logical level. What is there in your CD? What is there in your audio tape? So that is logical level, logical way of thinking. Then coming to external level, we will listen to the song. You will listen to the song, only one song at an instance. We will not see all the songs together. Only one song can be visible for us. So that is external level. Let us see this. So we view our data in the three levels of abstraction. One is physical level, second one is logical level, third one is external level. So here, what is physical level? Physical level mainly concentrate on how data are actually stored. How my songs are actually stored in the form of CD and in the form of audio tape. Is that clear, student? So in physical level, it will describe how the data are actually stored. How the data is actually stored. And we will deal about how data is actually stored. Usually, it is in the form of a data structure, isn't it? So in the data structure format only, you will store your data. We generally call physical level as internal level. We will generally call physical level as internal level. Keep that in your mind. The physical level of abstraction is meant for how data is stored. Clear? Then talking about the second one, that is logical level. So in this, it will describe what type of data is there in your particular database or particular audio CD or particular video CD. So it describes about what data is stored in the database. It will talk about how it is stored, and the logical level, what data is stored in your database. So it will be designed by the use of ER diagrams. We will see it later in our classes. ER diagrams is nothing but entity relationship diagrams. In the form of ER diagrams, we will see this logical level of abstraction. So it is also called as conceptual level or schema level. Is that clear? So we are having three levels of abstraction. The first level is physical level. The second level is logical level. The third level is external level. Physical level talks about how data is stored in the database. Logical level is meant for how it describes what type of data is stored in the database. Then talking about external level. External level will talk about only the part of database. It will talk about a part of database can be viewed. Remaining database it will not touch. So it is having many views. Clear? So it is also called as subschema level or view level. Is that clear, students? Yes. Let us move about data independency. So changing of one level from another level without affecting that level is called data independency. We'll have three levels, changing from logical level to physical level or physical level to logical level without affecting the previous level is called as data independency. Okay, so the physical data independency means, so in the physical data, how data is stored? Data is stored in the form of a tape, it is stored in the form of a CD, it is stored in the form of a hard disk. So it will change from physical level to logical level without affecting the logical level. Clear? So that is called as physical data independency. Talking about logical data independency from logical level to external level or logical level to physical level. So how data is stored? How data is stored? What type of data is stored is talking about in logical level. So what type of data is stored here? That will clearly mention here. So that is logical data independency. Clear? So let us coming to the architecture of view of data. So what are the three level architecture? So we'll talk about, here we are having a database. So we are having three levels. One is internal level, that is physical level. Then conceptual level, that is what this level meant for? Physical level, conceptual level and view level. Clear? So we call conceptual level as logical level. So from the database, first internal level, what is internal level meant for? How data is stored. Then talking about conceptual schema, which is nothing but what type of data is stored. Then talking about the view level. In view level, we will view a part of database. So we are having so many users, so many views will be there for that. Clear? So this is about database. This is about view of data and data abstraction. Then talking about what is instance and what is schema. Instance is nothing but at a point of time we will collect the data. The collection of data stored in the database at a particular moment or at a point of time. At an instance we will collect the data. Schema is nothing but overall description of your data. We call it as schema. Let us see what is the difference between an instance and a schema. So here you will see instance schema is nothing but course is one schema, prerequisites is one schema, section is one schema and grade report is one schema. Overall description, what there in the course table, what is there in the prerequisite, what is there in the section, what is there in the grade report. While talking about instance, at an instance it is having 4 fields. Course name is having 4 fields, course number is having 4 fields, course credit hours is having 4 fields. In the same way for section, in the same way for grade report, in the same way for prerequisites. Is that clear? Now you will get the difference between an instance and a schema. Schema means overall description, whereas instance, at an instance, what are the data we will fetch. Clear? Then, talking about data models. Yes. So, what are the data models we need? Why we need data models actually? Yes. Students, data model is a collection of conceptual tools for describing your data. So, to describe your data and to describe your data relationships, we need some models. Okay. So, those are the object-based logical models and record-based logical models. We are having two types of data models. Those are object-based logical model and record-based logical model. Talking about object-based logical model. So, what is a object-based logical model meant for? So, it will have no fixed formats. To represent the data, object-based logical model doesn't have any fixed format. It doesn't have any fixed format. If you get the data, it will store the data in whatever format we need. So this is the model. So in this model, it will consisting of conceptual tools. It is used for designing logical and conceptual level of database. As you know, conceptual level is nothing but what data is stored, what type of data is stored. How you are storing is no need. So there is no fixed format. It will talk about only the logical level, only the conceptual level. What type of data is stored in your data. That only we need in this object-based logical model. Yes. So and also this model is also known as semantic model. Here we are talking about conceptual level. So we will do basically the ER diagrams. So in logical level, we will show the database in the form of ER diagrams. That is entity relationship diagrams. Clear? So this is about object-based logical model. Yes. Next, talking about record-based logical model. If you see here, record-based logical model will have fixed format for representing data. It will have a fixed format. So what are the types of data models that come under record-based data model? Those are network model, hierarchical model and relational model. As you know, network model means we will talk about a graph as you see in your data structures, isn't it? Talking about hierarchical model, hierarchical structure means we'll talk about a tree, isn't it? Then relational model, we talk about a table. Keep that in your mind. When you talk about relation, means it is a table. Relation is nothing but table. So, we store our data in a fixed format in record-based data models. So, here we will use network model, hierarchical model and relational model. Network model is nothing but representing in the form of graphs. Hierarchical model is nothing but representing in the form of tree. Relational model is nothing but representing in the form of table. Table representation means it will have rows and columns. Clear? So this is about record-based data model. Let us see this. So here how you store in a hierarchical structure, in a tree structure, rigid number, first name of the student, last name of the student, middle name of the student. In the hierarchical way you can store your data, that is tree like structure. Then talking about network and hierarchical models, both are involved more number of pointers. It requires more number of pointers. Why? It will point to the next level. Graph also, vertices. One vertex to another vertex. You have to point. We have to use more number of pointers. So pointers are mainly used for network based and hierarchical based models. While talking about relational model, it is free from pointers. If we misplace the pointer, the entire data is corrupted. Whereas using the relational model, there is no pointer at all. So we didn't get any problem. Clear? So which model is better? Network model or hierarchical model or relational model? Obviously, relational model is better option. Then, how relational model exists? Let us see. Let us take an example here. Here in this example, student table, I have taken the student table. What are there in the relational model? Let us see. So, tuple or row is the combination of different column values on a real object. So, we call this one as, these are nothing but tuples. These are nothing but tuples. These are nothing but the number of columns. Columns we have. Number of tuples. Number of tuples. Okay. So, tuple or a row. Row is the combination of different column values. So, this is the column value. These are the tuples. One row. This is one tuple, this is another tuple, this is another tuple, and this is another tuple. Okay. So, the number of columns represent degree of the table. So, what is the degree of this table? 1, 2, 3. So, the degree of table is 3. Talking about the number of tuples represent cardinality of the table. So, what is the cardinality of this table? 1, 2, 3, 4. Is that clear? So, tuple is identified by uniquely by using a primary key. When we have double line in your head part, we generally call it as a primary key, which is uniquely identified column, which is a uniquely identified tuple. Clear? Clear, students? Yes. Let us move on to the next one. So, what are the properties of relation? So, in the relation table, all the tuples will be, in all the values in the table are atomic in nature, and rows are unordered on the top to bottom, columns also unordered from top to bottom. Relation must contain primary key for identifying. We can write the columns in whatever manner we need, and the same thing will be unordered in the table also. Clear? Next, talking about client-server architecture of database management system. So, we will talk about client and server architecture in a 3-tier architecture. So, we will have 3 types of architectures here when you are talking about client-server architecture. So, the DBMS architecture will consisting of 1-tier architecture, 2-tier architecture, and 3-tier architecture. What it does mean? The DBMS client-server architecture will be look like this. So, if you have 1 tier, 1 user with the client Facebook. Okay. When talking about 2-tier architecture will have a web server, will have the user with an application server. When you are talking about 3-tier architecture, we will have the database which managed by the database management server. Let us see one by one. So, this is 1-tier architecture. The user is directly using the database. The user is directly using the database. When you are talking about 2-tier architecture, if you see this, there are several clients using the database system. So, the database system in turn is having a server machine. Which is connected over a network, and the clients are using. The several clients will be using the system. So, but it is maintained by the server system which is connected over a network connection. We call this one as a 2-tier architecture. Then talking about 3-tier architecture, we'll have the database. that will be maintained by the server of database application and which is connected over a network connection with the clients. Clear? So we'll have application, we'll have the application, how the clients are using, the clients will contact the network with the server mission where the database application is there. The database application in turn will be connected to the database and it will get you the result. So this is the three-type architecture. So in the first type, one user with the database. So the user will be directly connected to the database. Clear? Then talking about the next one, two type, it will have a network connection with the server system. The server system will be connected to get the data. Clear? Next talking about three-tier architecture, it is managed by the server database application. By this we will get the data. So these are the three types of client server architectures we have. Then these are the three types of client server architectures we have. Thank you students. Let us move on to the lecture 3 in the next video. Thank you.